my thoughts on what's going on.
Well, let's talk about since when you started to what your thoughts are, how it changed, and what else. Do you have any recommendations on it?
Well, conventions. I'll have a seat.
Yeah. All right.
Well, conventions have become a big business now. You know, it used to be a special event, special thing. You know, there will be about maybe 4 or 5 conventions a year. You know, and we all look forward to going to those shows. You know, now it's as average of 1 to 5 conventions every weekend, all year long, and you know, Comic Cons have become the word Comic Con became part of the lexicon, and then most laymen who've never been to a Comic Con now wants to go because, you know, like shows like Big Bang Theory and some of the, you know, movies and TV shows that, you know, touched upon are kind of a genre, you know, and now it's fully embraced by the masses. And all these organizers are taking advantage of that and the curiosity from the masses by putting together these conventions every week. And now they're still called Comic Cons, but most of those shows don't even really, I don't really count them as Comic Cons. They're called that, you know, for recognition, name recognition, brand recognition. What they are like a multimedia pop culture get together, you know, festivals, with comic book being sort of the groundwork for everything else, or the base for, you know, all of it. But some of these shows don't even, you know, pay much attention to the comic aspect of the genre. You know, it's all TV and games and movies.
Right. So basically, what you're saying is not as approachable as it used to be.
Yeah, no, it's a different animal. You know, it's in name only. A lot of them are Comic Cons because it used to be back in the day, about about 20 years ago. When you go to a Comic Con like San Diego and such, comic books and the creators of comic books and artists, we were the stars. We were who people paid to see, and they came to see our work and us. You know, like the art and the people who created the art. And also, you know, the comic business was different then. We didn't have movies and TV shows with all these, you know, with characters. Comic books were selling in numbers that are unfathomable now, you know, and the masters were just consuming all the comic books. So, yeah, so we were superstars. So you go to a Comic Con and everything in there was comic related. You'd be hard pressed to find an actor somewhere in a Comic Con, and when they are, they're in like incognito, trying to hide themselves. You know. Now you'd be hard pressed to find a comic artist in a Comic Con. It's filled with a bunch of freaking actors and you know, third-rate freaking C-listed, you know, has-beens and cosplayers. You know, so, yeah.
People don't really have any work anywhere else, so they come here and just collect a paycheck.
America loves nostalgia. Everybody loves, you know, everybody loves like their, you know, childhood, and it's the whole place and the whole thing is built on remembrance of things past in childhood. You know, it's like, hey, I used to have that toy. Hey, I used to watch that show. Oh, I love this. I love that when I was this young and that young. And you're trying to recapture a little bit of a part of your youth that's gone now. You know, you find that in TV shows, toys. I mean, there are toys and books that we couldn't afford when we were kids. Now, as adults, we can't. So we're going back and kind of rebuying and reacquiring our childhood. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely seen in like a lot of movies. They try to do like a lot of remakes of the '80s stuff, and even if you look at the new Spielberg movie,
right,
the Ready Player One.
Yeah, you walked by here before.
So another thing that I wanted to ask you was about, I know that you took a stand on a lot of those artists that, you know, copy other people's art and do, so talk a bit about that.
It's, yeah, well, what it is that these so-called Comic Cons, since they're not real Comic Cons, shows like Wizard World and all these pop culture shows, You know, it's business. You have to make money. You have to get asses through the door. You got to sell booths. You got to sell tables. And, you know, every Comic-Con has a place called Artist Alley. Artist Alley is a sacred place, you know, for Comic-Cons back in the day, because this is where you meet the creator. This is the heart and the brain of a thing called a Comic-Con, right? And that's where you find your heroes, your artistic heroes, you know, people who have created these images that live in the comic books, that live in your heart, that live in your head, you know, live in your memory. This is where you find them. So in order for you to be an Artist Alley, the qualifications are that you have to be one of these creators that made an impact, or you have contributed to the genre, to you know, and now it's just by name. Now, if anybody who buys a table in Artist Alley is all of a sudden somehow it's almost like without going through the trenches, without going, you know, earning their stripes, they just, hey, I'll just buy an Artist Alley table and just sell whatever the hell I want, and that should be fine. And you know, a lot of convention organizers, they don't care. The sales department has to sell the tables. That's their job, and nobody vets them. So you have all these non-artists occupying space in Artist Alley, because most shows, the cost for an Artist Alley table is going to be much cheaper than buying a vendor's booth. So these fucking art thieves, you know, I call them like print jockeys, will buy up Artist Alley table space and put up these big freaking high, 40-foot high, you know, a wall of shitty prints. And they'll pretend to be artists, and they sit there and they sell these knockoff fucking prints of other people's work, you know, really cheap, next to like real artists who are trying to make ends meet. And you know, and most people, most laymen are not, you know, educated in and well versed in what goes on in the art world. They just see their favorite character, it's in color and it's cheap, and they can get for $10. So they'll buy these things, you know, and overlook all, you know, all the real artists sitting there offering real art and you know real, you know, craft. And yeah, so I hate that shit. So after doing so many of these shows like Wizard, and I got fed up with sitting next to these guys, and I finally, you know, made us think about it. And it didn't help that the guy that I found doing this not only was selling prints and mock-up stuff, he was claiming the work he was stealing was his own. I mean, like, the guy didn't even try to make any. We're not talking about an artist who can actually draw, taking an existing piece of work as an inspiration and to, you know, pay homage to it. No, it just somebody took like a printed, a published image of, let's say, Alex Ross or Jim Lee, and just like printed it on a G-clay or a cardboard or something, and then taken the, you know, through Photoshop, they took the signature off, and he just signs his name and tried to pass it over his own. So I busted him because I named every single piece of artwork or product that was at his booth in Artist Alley that was on the wall, that it was his. He claimed to his. So I busted the guy. And I've been on a crusade ever since. I got sick and tired of these motherfuckers, you know?
And you said that the organizers kind of don't care about it, or?
No, because here's the thing, because they, like organizations like Wizard World, okay, they have a complete disconnect between the factions, you know, like the sales department and the you know, the floor manager, and then the promotional department. They have zero connection. So the sales department will just sell fucking tables to anybody who can write a check. Now, the floor manager, the talent, you know, coordination, these people, like the liaison, they're supposed to vet these people. But the bosses are like, no, we'd rather have money, so fuck it, right?
Right.
So they don't care. So, you know, so they let it happen. But meanwhile, these guys are trying to invite real reputable comic, you know, creators to come to their show. It's embarrassing to have a well-known published artist, and then you have this fucking swiper or this freaking thief set up next to him with a 40-foot high wall of freaking shitty prints. You know? So, and I can't win the battle. These guys are not going to change the business. So the way I take care of this problem is I stop going to their shows, and I stop promoting their shows, and that's it. So I pick and choose and go to shows that will actually, pay attention to us
and appreciate
and
artists.
appreciate us, and there are many good shows. Like I will go to Heroes Con because it's been happening for over close to 40 years since there's a one big artist alley. I go there when I want to feel like an artist again.
No, I've never been there. Can you talk about
Heroes? Heroes Convention, Heroes Con takes place in Charlotte, North Carolina, every June, and is hosted by Shelton Drum, who's a comic store owner. And then, 40 years ago, he started a little Comic Con, and this is like a labor of love for him. This is how he celebrates the genre, by inviting all the creators to come to his show. He takes care of them, and then it's all about comic book and the artists who create the work. That's it. No movies, no games, nothing. So, and it's been growing every year, and it's still going on. It's one of the most sought after real Comic Cons that us creative people look forward to, especially comic books. That's one shit. It used to be San Diego Comic Con used to be the mecca of Comic Cons, but
not anymore.
It's not anymore. It's all about Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, I heard that New York is more artist friendly.
Well, New York is so far. It's as big as San Diego, but it's still focused on comics for now. Meaning they actually have a healthy sized, artist alley, and their programming and their big time guests are still luminaries in the artist business. Like this year, they're doing Jack Kirby's 100th birthday, and they will have a panel, and John Byrne, who hasn't made a personal appearance in a convention since 2004, is going to be at that panel, and then he'll be doing a 2-hour signing. That's pretty big,
Yeah, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
The last time I think he did was Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, and he was just signing Star Trek stuff.
Well, I think, because he's doing this Star Trek stuff for IDW. So, but that's going to be big. Yeah, so New York is going to go the way of San Diego soon, I'm sure, because business. You can't ignore Hollywood. Hollywood comic books are married together. I mean, look at all the blockbuster movies and stuff, right? But see, there has to be a way to celebrate that medium, and then also respect and celebrate and appreciate the medium that birthed that other medium.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So I actually want to see more shows that kind of cater to the comic books and the creators. But then the shows themselves has to make money in order to, so they have to find a happy medium. I mean, there are shows that do that, like Pensacon in Pensacola, amazing convention, because everything is there, and because it's not a corporation show. It's a labor of love by an owner, Mike Ainsley, who puts it together, and so every aspect of the show is taken care of with respect and love for the genre. So the comic people are happy, the movie people are happy, the book people are happy. So you don't feel like you're left out. You don't feel like you're second banana.
Right.
Shows like that are rare, but they are. Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a lot of the shows are becoming like money grabs at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, you have artists, that try to overcharge for some stuff, and you have, celebrities that do that same stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that you have artists that definitely, their stuff is expensive, but I found some artists that will do $1,500 for a pencil sketch, and they're barely published.
Right.
It's like,
well, I'm going to tell you something. As an artist, I will always side with the artist, and I'll explain to you why. An artist can charge whatever he deemed his artwork is worth. It's the buyer who has to decide whether they want to spend the money to acquire the art. I can't fault an artist for charging whatever the hell he wants for it, because however good he is, he got to that stage by working hard and his talent, and is worth whatever penny he's charging for.
Right.
But some people like to think that they dictate the price of artists to charge because they don't want to pay for it. They think it's too high. Or unless you're published, you know, worth anything. I'm going to tell you something. There's a fucking ton of published artists who suck. Okay, in my personal opinion. And
they can name a couple right now.
You want me to name a couple? No, I'm not gonna, I'm not going to make any freaking unwanted enemies, but they know who they are. But, I mean, if you talk to the peers, they say, how the fuck did this guy ever get in business, right? Let me tell you, I mean, they appeal to somebody. Somebody's buying their work so that they're worth whatever the hell they charge. I cannot fault them for that, you know? I mean, would I personally pay $1,500 for a fucking sketch from somebody? You know what? If maybe I won't because maybe I don't like the art. But you know what? I have paid couple of $1,000 for a sketch from some European artist or an Asian artist where somebody's scratching their head and like, why would you pay that much for it? I'm like, because I think it's worth that much to me. You know, I see the genius behind it, you know? Like, you know, I spent a couple $1,000 on a Kim Jong-gi freaking sketch.
Oh my God, yes. He's one of my favorites.
Right? Exactly.
I would definitely do that.
Right? That reaction could be for that somebody one day who's, you know, who you're going, why would anybody pay $1,500 for that? Yeah, you know, to each his own. You know, it's like, yeah. But I will always side with the artist. I have to tell you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, you know. If I were a collector, and I am, but I collect what I can afford, and I'm selective about who I like, you know, whose work I like. So yeah.
Makes sense. But yeah, I mean, like on the big conventions and stuff like that, celebrities, they charge a ton of money, and then a lot of people don't really have money left over to spend in the other hall.
Yeah, no, it's like the Wizard show. So you have like, you know, somebody come in, they pay $300 for Norman Reedus' fucking autograph, and all they got is $20 left in their pockets, and we're all fighting to get that $20.
Right.
You know. Here's one thing. I mean, your readers. I mean, explain to you something about celebrities, actors, and comic book artists. The fans of comic book artists and writers, and fans of actors. Okay, you pay $500 for that fucking autograph from a fucking actor, right? Once you get the autograph, you never need to see that guy again or girl again ever. What more can they do? You got the autograph. But comic book artists and writers, we're always doing something different. Our fans follow us wherever we go.
And that's true. Like, I'm glad you brought up Norman Reedus because it's fucking hilarious. Like, years ago, before Walking Dead,
Yeah.
3 of them were doing like the stuff for Boondock Saints, and nobody was at their fucking table. They're like $10 a pop.
Yeah, and they couldn't give it away. Yeah, you know, I mean, they were buying their own lunch. You know, now they bring lunch and somebody's blowing Norman under the fucking table or some bullshit, right?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
I just wish he would fucking get a haircut and take a shower. You know, I know you're freaking Daryl. You don't have to look like him all the fucking time, man, you greasy fuck.
It's like, oh look, it's a redneck from Alabama.
Yeah, no, I'm like, you don't have to be in character all the time, Norman. You know, because I'm like, is that Norman Reedus? I swear to God, that guy pumped my fucking gas like a couple of miles down the block from here. You know?
Right. Oh my God. No, it's funny. And every photo op that he does, he looks like a Unabomber. It's hilarious.
That's Daryl. That's his look.
Yeah.
You know, greasy and unbathed. Yes.
It's great. Well,
I want to add something. So,
sure.
Yesterday, a friend came up to me and said he was approached by one of these artists who sets up at conventions. Not a published pro. One of these print guys, right? Apparently, he does his own shit, some splatter art, whatever, and make prints. And I've never met the guy, but he knows about me. But he knew that this mutual friend knew me, so he started on my friend about me and say, what the fuck is Buzz's problem? You know, he's selling prints of known characters that he doesn't know. He has something against us doing this. And my friend's like, well, first of all, Buzz is a professional. He still works in the business. He works for his company, right? And so I think he may have more right to do this than you because you're unpublished. But the guy was like trying to justify whatever problem he has with me through my friend. But he also questioned my friend's friendship. Like, well, you know, you're siding with Buzz, but we're friends. Like, he's like, well, I'm siding with Buzz because he's right. But if you have a problem with that you don't want to be my friend, then I guess you can. And I'm going, okay, push aside all the junior high school bullshit. My thing is this. If you call yourself a fucking artist, right? And you're going to argue for the print vendors and the fucking art thieves, what the hell does that make you? You know what I'm saying? Every single freaking legitimate artist sides with me about my stand on these fucking art thieves. So if you're gonna find some way, somehow, to noodle yourself in there to stand for the fucking art thief, that makes you the biggest fucking scumbag. So fuck him. Fuck that guy, alright?
Right.
That's the way I look at it. I don't get it. And then I told, he said, Buzz is not unapproachable. If you really have a problem, you can always talk to him. He's at a show every weekend. The guy's like, oh no, I'm not gonna do that. Of course he's not gonna fucking do that because he's full of shit.
Right.
My thing is, here's the understand. I cannot police conventions and what the organizers do and what they say. I don't set up in a vendor's area. I'm in artist alley. Okay? It's the only place that I'm trying to keep it, kind of pure. Right? I don't care if you're a good artist or bad artist. If you're doing your own work, even if you're taking the inspiration from someone's work, the prints that you have are made by you.
No, that's
the images that you made your prints, the original were handcrafted, drawn, painted, however medium you want to use by you. You have every right to do what I'm doing. That's fine. My problem is guys who are not artists, who are just fucking selling prints. Okay? Pretending to be a studio or whatever and using the lame excuse to set up an artist alley. I want them gone. I want them to fucking spend the real money and buy a booth in a vendor area because that's who the fuck they are. Fucking vendors. That's where they belong. I just don't want them in artist alley because once they're in the vendors area, their fucking shows responsibility. But if they're in the artist alley and they're fucking ripping off my fucking brothers and sisters, I'm going to fucking do something about it. That's it.
And that makes sense. I guess the final words. Do you have any kind of words of advice to aspiring artists? Or
if you're trying to get into comic books, don't. And I tell you, it'll break your heart because first of all, your aspiration is too, I guess, plain and not high enough. Don't try to become a comic book artist. Try to become an artist. Period. Don't let one day I'm going to draw Batman be the height of your aspiration, because you should go beyond that. Because you got to remember, once you've been in the business, Batman's going to outlast you.
Right, so basically become a creator, do your own thing.
Do whatever you want. You can draw Batman, you can draw whatever you want, you can draw your own shit, but just don't limit yourself to just one aspect of the medium, of the art. Become, more than that. Paint, draw, scout, don't just try to do comic book, do everything. Be a fully functional creator.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Oh, anything else you want to add?
Don't do any illegal drugs. If you want to, wait till they become legalized.
Medically or otherwise?
Medically or otherwise, yeah. Eat it, smoke it, snort it, shove it up your ass, whatever you do with it. Just make sure you don't get in trouble. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thank you again.
You're welcome.